Jordan Poole got paid. Andrew Wiggins got paid. Draymond Green, he got a fine. They didn't suspend Draymond Green for knocking out a teammate, which is a whole other ugly mess of a situation that's gone on for the Warriors this week. The extensions kind of ease the blow for anyone talking Bay Area basketball. What is your initial reaction to both Poole and Wiggins getting these deals?
I was surprised it happened on the same day, and also kind of thought both of them would happen, because basically if Poole didn't reach an extension on the day that he got it, he would have been a restricted free agent. This is just the way that being an undrafted player works in the NBA. So he wouldn't have been able to negotiate an extension again until after the season ended. So Golden State pushed it right down to the wire with Poole, which interesting choice, I would say, if you had your apprehensions about keeping him around. They can obviously trade him later, but just interesting apprehensions
yield
there.
result. Deadlines yield results, my friend.
Yeah. And then they wanted to lock down Wiggins at the price that he was, which, by the way, I was surprised Wiggins only got 110. Now, like, it's basically the same contract he's getting right now. And I don't think he's going to be on the Warriors for all 5 years of that contract. But at the same time, I was surprised that he didn't get more coming off of Finals MVP. I thought he would get not a max extension, but at least $30 million a year. And he only came out to like 27.5. So I think good deal on the value lines for the Warriors, especially if the salary cap's going to go up in the next couple of years.
Did I miss something? I thought Steph Curry was the Finals MVP.
That's true. He's not a Finals MVP, but he was the second best player on a team that had Steph Curry and won the championship in the playoffs. I shouldn't have said Finals MVP. I should have said second best player on the Golden State Warriors, who won the championship. Second best player on a championship.
Most second best player on a championship team. That the new trophy, it's made out of wood.
I mean,
some sturdy wood.
Like, second best player on a championship team can be Kobe Bryant and it can be Chris Middleton. There's kind of a wide bar in between the two of those. And Andrew Wiggins, I guess, is on the lowest end of that because of just how amazing Steph Curry was in that finals series.
Well,
but Wiggins,
if I had to measure Andrew Wiggins' impact and how he contained Jason Tatum, I would say, yeah, that was pretty impactful on that entire series. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, only Golden State can put an Andrew Wiggins in that position. But yeah, I was interested by both of them getting extension. Draymond's not going to get an extension. That one, we kind of already knew that, and we kind of knew that they were going to choose those two players over Draymond. Draymond already knew that because there's whispers that, this is his last season and he's angling to get to Los Angeles because of the connection to Clutch Agency. And
might as well punch out a teammate on the way out.
Even before he punched out Jordan Poole, we kind of knew that this was going to be it because Draymond was literally unplayable in games 3 and 4 of the finals last season. So I get that point of it. I think that the Golden State Warriors had to make these moves, and they're kind of like in this pivotal transition phase where they're basically taking the money they gave to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and now giving it to Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, which doesn't guarantee that you're going to get back to the promised land. Like, that is not necessarily the best guarantee that you're going to be great, but it's so hard to be great. The fact that the Warriors have been great for 8 years with the same core of the team is, I think the only comp is the San Antonio Spurs, of having the same core of your team and having that be great for 8 consecutive seasons with a little break in between.
So do you like this new core as the Warriors of the future? Do you like the idea of Poole, an older Steph, and Wiggins being the guys that can carry the Warriors in this next phase? Because Klay Thompson, we all kind of agree based off how we saw him in last year's finals. Seems like he's starting to get to the point where he's kind of done. And then Draymond, like you said, he's not going to be a Warrior next year. Do you think that this is the core that can continually keep them as championship contenders?
No, they're going to need one more person. So basically
Wiseman?
The Warriors,
Kuminga?
It's either Wiseman, it's Kuminga, it's Moses Moody, maybe. They're just going to have to start playing those players and figure out what they have with those young guys, because the way that they're going to sustain paying Steph Curry over $50 million a year, paying Jordan Poole $30 million a year, and paying Andrew Wiggins $27.2 million a year, while for the time being having Klay Thompson on the roster. I mean, I don't know how long Klay Thompson is going to still be a Golden State Warrior. He got a 5-year extension, so he has 2 years left on his contract, and he's making $40 million and $43 million the next 2 seasons to not be the same Klay Thompson of yesteryear, which is an impossible ask. Like, coming off those 2 injuries, it's an impossible ask for him. But I will say that Jordan Poole, Wiggins, And as long as you have Steph, you're going to be competitive for the next few years. It's what those younger players who are on rookie contracts for the next few years are going to look like. And if they had just taken LaMelo Ball over James Wiseman, I think our answers would be more concrete, but they're still in that position where they're going to need one of those lottery picks to turn into something, even if it's just becoming Harrison Barnes, or even if it's becoming just a good player instead of a great player. That's something that's going to help because they already have the foundation of Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole, and Wiggins for the next at least 2 seasons.
I will give you that obviously LaMelo has been awesome already in his NBA career. I think that the jury's still not out on Wiseman. He still has that potential. He still is a big guy. He can give what the Warriors really don't have, especially if we're talking about the post-Draymond Green era. They need some size. That will be something that is a needed position for them. So it's just going to come down to, can their culture, can that locker room build Wiseman into that type of guy? Again, you talk about Moody and Kuminga. You would love to see those. Now, they have some things that they're going to have that are different this year. Obviously, Gary Payton Jr. isn't there, so this team loses that perimeter defender that was pivotal in them winning a championship last year. They are currently number 4, according to Vegas, in terms of best betting odds to win the championship this year, right behind Milwaukee, Boston, and tied with the Clippers. They're going to be in the mix. There's no doubt about it. They'll be in the mix. I question the decision to not suspend Draymond a little bit. I feel like it's not accountability. Sure, a fine is fine. It's fine that you gave a fine, but I would think a suspension would be more appropriate given it got leaked out there and we all saw what it was. It was straight up sucker punch. The Warriors will continue to be a contender regardless. Even if they just kept that core, didn't change anything, they will be at worst like number 4 in the Western Conference with just that core. Because I think I always appreciate about Steph and will continue to appreciate is I think he's the type of player that can age perfectly. Just shooting is something that is so valuable. I don't think it's like something that you just kind of like turn off a switch and suddenly you're bad at. Like even Ray Allen in his last season was still a great shooter for the Miami Heat. I think Steph is going to be a type of player that will age consistently. The next thing is with you handing out these deals, you're hoping that there's something more to Wiggins. You're hoping that there's something more to Poole. And that's what the Warriors are banking on. Like you said, can Poole ever become a valuable defender to them? Is he always going to be a liability for them defensively? If so, then he needs to become a consistent asset for them offensively. He can't have games where he just disappears. Up until that point where he hit that half-court shot against Boston, he was pretty quiet. He was pretty contained. You're handing out a deal like this, if you're handing out an extension like this, you are telling Jordan Poole, you are going to be not just a dude, you might be the dude for the Golden State Warriors.
Jordan Poole, you are the dude until we can find the dude better than you and then trade you for the dude that's better than you. But if that never comes, then you're the dude.
Yeah, all the pressure's on you, Jordan Poole. This is what this extension does. And now Andrew Wiggins is not a guy that hasn't had pressure in his career. Obviously, you're talking about a former number 1 overall pick. Andrew Wiggins has dealt with pressure. He's dealt with adversity. He's dealt with Jimmy Butler, basically calling him a pussy, So I think that Andrew Wiggins has shown that he can overcome in his career, redefine himself. And if he can just, now that he's gotten paid, now that he's got this deal, I just hope he doesn't get complacent, right? I hope that he keeps that same level of defensive integrity and doesn't go back to what he was in the years past. Because again, he shut down Jason Tatum. If he shuts down like a team's most valuable offensive scorer on a consistent basis, then by all means, he always will give this team a chance to win series, win pivotal games. That it's a tangible asset that the Warriors can replicate game in and game out as long as Wiggins continues to bring that intensity. It's something that obviously, Draymond's brought to this team, and they're going to have to shift the culture to someone else. Like, again, whether that's Wiseman, whether that's Wiggins, someone's going to have to pick up the slack when they eventually do make the decision to move on past Draymond Green.
And I know a bunch of stuff has changed in the time since, but going into the playoffs last year, the Warriors were the 4th largest favorites to win the championship. And then through all of the offseason changes, they are still the 4th best odds to win the championship. So it's kind of funny how that one played out. You can change the teams at the top a little bit. I know Milwaukee and Boston are still the 2 favorites, but I mean, the Warriors are kind of the same team, which is they're going to coast through the regular season and then they're their playoff run is going to be contingent on Steph Curry being Steph Curry, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play.
You poke holes in the top 4 teams. I mean, Milwaukee, yeah, they had the best player in the world, but we've seen them come up short because of injuries and their lack of depth behind Giannis. Boston, I mean, hell, literally head coach got suspended in the offseason. How is that going to affect the team? The Clippers, I mean, we assume that Kawhi is going to come back and everything's going to be
no
all
one's watched them play
hunky-dory.
for 2 seasons.
Yeah, so you look at those 3 teams, and I've seen the Warriors play last season. I saw them win a championship just 3, 4, 5 months ago, whatever it was. I know that nothing's really significantly changed. I mentioned again, they lose like a Gary Payton, but I'm sure they'll find someone. I'm sure they'll find someone to come up from the G League and fill that role. It's just something that they've been able to do in building this machine that is the Golden State Warriors. Now these deals just signify, well, we're planning on being the best team, one of the best teams in the league for the next 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, as long as we could continue to get guys into our locker room and build that culture and build the Golden State Warriors as championship winning basketball, because that is our brand now. We are a legitimate dynasty. KD, no KD, Steph, no Steph, whatever it may be.
They do need Steph. They do need Steph. Let's put that.
But as all good organizations do, when the day should come, because it will come, we need to have a future beyond Steph. Hopefully Jordan Poole fits out for them, because they need someone to be it. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments section below. What do you think about the Warriors' future game planning here? Do you like the extensions to both Wiggins and Poole? What do you think of Draymond not getting his deal done? What do you think of just in general, all the chaos that kind of surrounded the Warriors in the last couple of weeks? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Leave a like on the video. Follow us on all our social media. Subscribe to the channel. From Ju-Ju and Kyle, stay safe, happy, and healthy. We'll see you on the next one.